Gregory Mendel. So therefore, we're going to have Mendel's laws of inheritance over here. Okay, this is how your character or your father character is actually inherited to the children. Now, for the inheritance, this is really important that we have to know where that characters is located in our cell. So let's say we have cell, we have nucleus, and inside nucleus we have chromosomes, right? We have chromosome. For humans, there are 46 chromosomes. Now that 46 chromosome is actually 23 pairs. So 23 pairs. 23 coming from your mother, the other 23 coming from your father. Therefore, every children will have combinations of fathers and mothers traits or characters. Okay, now from that 23 pairs, usually the scientists will kind of put them in what we call the karyotype. Karyotype is the arrangement of chromosomes based on their size. Okay, so it will be arranged based on the size. So they usually take it, they take a picture of during the metaphase. They should be able to see different type of chromosomes, and that chromosome actually have different size. So the longer chromosomes will be chromosome pair number 1. So let's say like this one. Okay, I'm gonna use different color for mother and father. Let's say the black one is coming from your fathers, and the blue one is chromosome that coming from your mother. Okay, so chromosomes pair number 1 will be longer, and then number 2, pair number 3, and etc. until 23 pairs. Okay. Now, if it is based on the size, the question is, which one do you think the shortest? Which pair will be the shortest chromosome? Ethan?
How many pairs are there?
23 pairs. Total 46, right? Which one is going to be the shortest pairs?
The last one?
23?
Yeah.
It's actually incorrect. The shortest one will be pair number 22. Get it? Why? Because pair number 23, is actually sex chromosome. They are a little bit longer than pair number 22, 21, even number 20. So pair number, let's say this is 22 will be the shortest one, right? And then the last one, pair number 23, this is called what we call the sex chromosome, because this pair actually will telling us whether this person male or female. Okay, so if it is female, that pairs will be the same size because it the same chromosome, which is X chromosome. So let's say this is X chromosome, this is another X chromosome, like that. Oh, sorry, one should be coming from the mother. Okay, so this is X and X. Okay, now if it is male, okay, pair number 1 until 22 will be the same size. So number 1, 2, 2, 3. Let's say this is 22, and one will be bigger. Okay, and the other one will be smaller. Okay, so this is X and Y. Okay, so the blue ones will be from the father then, because only father that carry Y chromosome. Okay, so change the color over here. The blue is coming from the father. You follow this? Now, pair number 1 until pair number 22, okay, this chromosome is called autosome. Autosomes. Okay, so this is autosome. Okay, the pair number 23 is called sex chromosome. This is sex chromosomes, which is X or Y. Okay, so this is male, this is female. Okay, can you see this one first? Right? So every cells in your body will be look like this. If you are female, then all cells in your body will have 46 chromosome. And the pair number 23 will be X and X. If you are male, then you're going to have 23 pairs of chromosome. And the pair number 23 will be X and Y. Okay, that's the rule. This is what we call the karyotype, okay, arrangement of chromosome based on size. Basically, in your cell, it will not look like this because they just, randomly, present in your nucleus. It's not will be arranged in, in the size. But after, the scientists take a picture or maybe take the sample from your cells, they can see it under the microscope and they can arrange it based on the size. Okay, now, the question is where the inherited materials is located. It is located in the chromosomes. Let's say we have again, we just use one chromosome in this case. Let's say pair number 1. Okay, this is pair number 1. Which is autosome. Okay. Now, the materials for inheritance is actually located in here. In a very short sequence of the DNA. Okay. If you remember the DNA, the chromosome is consists of DNA that will be look like this, which is double helix, right? And the DNA consists of the sequence of nucleotide. And there are 4 types of nucleotide, whether adenines, guanine, cytosines, thymines, maybe another thymine over here, cytosines, guanines, maybe this is another thymine over here. So basically you have sequence like A, G, C, T, T, C, G, T, like that, okay? So that gene is actually short sequence of this DNA in this chromosome, because chromosome is actually long sequence of nucleotides, long DNA. Okay? So this what we call the genes. Okay, so this is where the inherited materials located, which is basically just sequence of this DNA. Okay, you have questions so far? So these genes, they have the alternative form, is called allele. Okay, allele, alternative form of a gene. Okay, basically to understand the inheritance, we have to put symbols in this gene, and that symbol is called the allele. Okay, now let's say we're going to use letters for this symbol. We're going to use letter A. Let's say letter A. Okay, so every genes will be in pairs, right? Because one coming from your mother and the other one coming from your father. Okay, now there will be 3 different type of pairs of alleles. Okay, let's say we're going to use letter A. Okay, so if you use letter A and the opposite one will be the same letter also, going to be A but lowercase. Okay, so in the gene, you have to use the same letter, but use capital letter and lowercase for a specific gene. You get this one first. Now, if we use the capital letter, this allele is called the dominant allele. Okay, and then the lowercase is going to be called the recessive allele. Right, for a specific gene. Can you follow this one first? Okay. Now, basically in one chromosome, there will be thousand of allele. Let's say we have another gene over here. There is another genes, and etc. So totally in human, there are about 20,000 to 25,000 genes. This is what we call the genome. Genome is the total number of genes in an individual, in one person. It is coming from all these 46 chromosomes. So 46 chromosomes, they will carry this much number of genes, 20,000 to 25,000. Again, the total number of genes in individual is called the genome. Basically, the longest the chromosome, it will carry more gene. So chromosome pair number 1, it will carry more gene compared to chromosomes number 22, because 22 really short. Can you follow this? So this is the total gene that we carry. Now, again, the alternative form of the gene is called the allele, and the allele will have 2 types, whether dominant or recessive. Okay, now one person, like this person, for example, might have, okay, maybe he carry both. Let's say this is both A, capital. So dominant allele coming from the father and dominant allele coming from the mother. Okay, both carry the dominant allele. So the gene is actually carry the dominant allele. So such individual then is called the homozygous dominant individual. We're just looking for one gene over here. It might be, we can use maybe B over here, smaller b, this is C, etc. But for this class, we're going to use just one example first, which is the top one over here. Okay, now, if a person, so let's say there is another person that carry okay. So he got the capital letter, the dominant allele from the father, but he actually received the recessive allele from the mother. Get it? So these individuals, this person will have this gene, okay, which is one capital, one lowercase. This individual called the heterozygous individual. Okay, we're gonna see that later. Okay, in the real, character, whether you have you are homozygous dominant, whether you are heterozygous, or there is maybe some individual that carry both lowercase of an allele. Okay, so this individual is then called as the homozygous but recessive. Okay, so you might be homozygous dominant, you might be heterozygous, or you might be homozygous recessive for a character, for a trait. We're gonna use some example of traits later. Can you follow this? And again, if you combine all these other genes, basically this is gonna be a lot of genes. You can, let's say, if it is 2, maybe you can have this individual AABB, both capital letter AABB, AA, like that. So if it is 2 characters, 2 traits, it's going to be. If it is 3 traits, then it's a lot. But again, just for calculation, right now we're going to use 1 trait, 1 gene first. Later we're going to use 2. Okay? Okay, do you have questions so far for this name, for this terminology? So you might dominant, you might heterozygous, you might homozygous recessive. You might carry that gene. Okay, now the gene that's located in the sexual chromosome, okay, is called the sex-linked genes. Okay, so it is going to be located in whether in X chromosome or in Y chromosome. If it is on female, both are going to be located in the X and X chromosome. It's called the sex-linked gene. Okay, there are several sex-linked genes that we know, like color blindness, hemophilia. That's actually on the sex gene. It is not in the autosomal genes. Okay. Okay, now we're gonna try to apply this information into the inheritance. Okay, so to know our inheritance, then we're gonna learn the laws of inheritance. Law of inheritance. It's called the Mendel's laws. Mainly there are 3. The first one is called the law of segregations. So what happened in this law? This law says that during the gamete production, okay, each allele will separate. That's segregation. Segregate, separate during formation of gametes. What is gametes? Whether eggs or sperm. During formation of sperm or eggs, each allele will separate. The second law is called the law of independent assortment. So it's actually telling us that each trait inheritance will not influence the other trait. Okay, Or in other words, each allele will choose and separate independently. We're gonna see that later, how it works. The third law is called the law of dominance. Okay. Basically, it's telling us if it is in heterozygous form, the dominant allele will cover or make up the recessive allele. Okay, basically, if it is in the heterozygous form, like for example, capital letter in lowercase, the characters of lowercase will not be showing up because it's covered by the character of the capital or dominant alleles. That's the law of the dominance. This is when Mendel performed his experiment. So he made these three laws of inheritance. Just for information, the last one over here will be changed later because he actually didn't know that there is another way of covering up. It's not only dominant, sometimes incomplete, sometimes codominance. But right now we're going to use his law to understand the following examples. We're going to start with first example. I'm going to erase this one first. Let's say we're going to use autosomal inheritance. So autosomal inheritance means this is for the genes that located in the autosomes, which is pair number 1 until number 22. It means that it will not really affected the gender. It will be the same for male and female. So male and female, it doesn't really matter. They will have the same type of inheritance if it is located in the autosomes. Now we're gonna use example, the easiest one. Let's say there are some people have problem with the skin pigmentation. Let's say albino, albino. This is actually inherited disease or disorder. So albino is actually, this is recessive, recessive autosomal disorder. It means that the one that have albino will only have one combination of allele, which is going to be both. Let's say we use letter A as an allele, so it's going to be both lowercase. So if you see someone with the albino, then you will know the genotype. This is what we call the genotype. Will be homozygous recessive. So this lowercase a will be showing up as an albino. You follow this? Now the second, maybe you have individual that carry one capital letter and one lowercase. This is heterozygous. So because this is dominant, remember the third rule, it said that dominant will cover the recessive. So basically, you will see that person as a normal person. Their skin is normal. However, they actually carry the albino gene. Therefore, if it is normal, but we can also say them as a carrier. This individual carry the albino gene. It doesn't matter male or female because it is in the autosome, right? And the last individual will be the one that have this homozygous dominant. Of course, because this is dominant, this is going to be the real normal person. The skin will be normal. You get this one first? Now, let's say we're going to put that in inheritance. We're going to see the probability of children if, let's say this is a mother, a woman, that is actually albino, like that, okay, married with a male or husband that is actually normal, homozygous dominant. Now, what is the children's gonna be? Now we're gonna use the first law over here, law of segregation. In order to help us to know the inheritance, we can use what we call the Punnett square. It says a square, okay, that you will put the children's in it. Now remember, the first law said the law of segregation, the gametes, when it is produced, will segregate. The allele will segregate. Look at this mother over here. It has lowercase, lowercase. When the mother creates the eggs, remember, it will separate. Let's say we put the mothers on the side. So one egg will carry one allele, recessive allele, and the other eggs will also carry one recessive allele. Now the father, when it's created the sperm, then this is a sperm that carry the A, and this one also carry the same, because this is the same allele, but you have to separate them in the Punnett square in order to know what happened. Now, the children will be combination of sperm and egg. So it's going to be capital letter. So always put capital letter first if it is capital and lowercase. So that's the first children going to be, which is what? Normal, but carrier. What is the second one? It's going to be the same. Normal, but carrier. And the third one is the same. Normal, but carrier. And the last one is going to be the same. Normal. It means that if a mother that have albino married with a husband that is normal, homozygous dominant, all their children 100% will be normal, but carrier. Okay. Now, let's say we continue this inheritance. Let's say one of these, let's say it's girls over here, which is normal but carrier over here. Then married with someone that also actually normal but carrier. Okay. Now what is the children's gonna be? The probability of children. In the question in the exam, maybe it's asking you what is the probability of the children will be albino, for example. Now, what is the albino children? Again, in order to answer that question, put the Punnett square, right? And then, again, follow the rule of segregation. So the mother here, one X will carry capital letter. The other X will carry the recessive allele. The same thing with the father. One sperm will carry dominant allele, and the other sperm will carry the recessive allele because it segregates. It's separate. Now, what is the children gonna be? From the first combination, then you have a child that is normal. Homozygous dominant. You're gonna have another child that is normal but carrier over here. And then how about this? It's gonna be the same. Normal, carrier. And the last one, this is the one that actually combination of the recessive allele, homozygous recessive. This is going to be the albino one. So how many percent albino? Going to be 25%. So the result will be 75% normal, and then 25% albino. Okay, that's not that difficult, right? Okay, this is when the autosomal allele, and this is working with the dominance. Okay, so dominance. Okay, and then there will be other one is called the incomplete dominance letter. There is another type of inheritance is called the codominant. Okay, right now we are working on the dominance alleles. The allele that cover the recessive allele. Hey, so that's if we follow the first law over here, law of segregation. Okay, and also the third law, which is law of the dominance. You follow this? Now, I'm gonna give you another example if we use the incomplete dominance. There are some of human character that is actually incomplete dominance. Okay, we're gonna use the hair type, hairstyle. Okay, so human maybe you see curly, maybe you see human with a wavy hair and with the straight hair. So there are three actually characters, three phenotype over here. So this is what we call the phenotype. Okay, the character that you can see. Okay, now this one is actually coming from incomplete dominance. Look at this one. Let's say we're gonna use letter. We can choose whether use letter C, W, or S. It doesn't matter. But if you choose one, that has to be the same. Let's say we use C, C, and then the opposite will be lowercase c. You cannot use C and W, C and S, etc. Use the same letter type. Right? Let's say C and C. Right? Let's say the one that dominant, homozygous dominant, is actually have curly hair. Curly hair. Right? The one that homozygous recessive, this is the one that have straight hair. Okay? And the one that heterozygous is actually wavy hair. What do you see over here? You see that curly is actually not dominant to the straight. Right? Because it produces intermediate character. It's a wavy hair. Just like a flower, for example, red flower and white flower, it produces the intermediate flower, which is the pink flower. That's the incomplete dominance over here. Now, let's say someone that curly. So if it is curly, you should be able to tell, oh, it's going to be this, curly. Let's say married with a male that is actually straight hair. So it's going to be like this. Now, what is the children going to be? How many of them will be curly? Ethan, how many of them will be curly?
2.
How many of them, Sydney, how many of them will be curly? How many percent? Sydney, Sydney. Sarah, how many will be curly? How many percent? Daniel, how many percent will be curly? Joe, how many percent will be curly? How many percent will be curly? How many percent? See, you don't really follow the rules over here. Look at this. Look at this, okay? Look at this. Look this and look this. Make a Punnett square, okay? Then you're gonna see here. Right? Follow this. I'm gonna use different color then. This one with blue color to make sure this is lowercase. Okay? Look at this. Okay? Sarah, look at this. What happened with the mother over here? This X will be carry the dominant, right? The allele, dominant allele. And this one will be what? Dominant allele. I just want to make sure that you will be able to answer the question in the exam. Otherwise, you will not. Right? Look at the father over here. The first sperm will be carry lowercase. The second sperm is going to be the same, lowercase. Now look at the children. Look at the children. The first will be like this. What is that? What is the hair type?
Wavy.
Wavy, what? Second one. What is the hair type? Wavy. Okay. The third one. What is the hair type? Wavy. What is the fourth one? What is the hair type? Wavy. How many percent of children are curly?
I'm sure.
None. None of the children will be like the father or the mother. Are you with me? So if the curly hair married with the straight hair, all their children will be wavy hair. None of them will be like the father or like the mother. Because what? Because they carry that combination over here. This is what we call the incomplete dominant. Can you follow this? So what is the answer? How many curly? 0. 75% wrong, 50% wrong, 25% wrong. 0. 0% curly, 0% straight, 100% wavy. Okay? Can you? Hey, you got this one. This is when it is incomplete dominant. Now, the last one, when we talk about codominance over here. In human, we're going to use the blood type. Blood type is actually can have a little bit dominant. At the same time, it codominant because it has 3 alleles. This is actually multiple alleles. So, this is the alleles like this for blood type. So this one's gonna be blood type A. Remember, every gene carries 2 alleles, right? Pair. Now, this is another one. We're gonna use I. This is also A blood type because what? A is actually dominant to the I. This is another allele over here. This is a multiple allele type of inheritance. Okay, let's say there is a this person is B type, blood type. This one also B blood type, but it's not that strong because it's carry little I. Okay, now this one over here, this is when it is codominance happening. What is? This is not A, this is not B, but both of them actually present. It's not intermediate, but both of them present. So this person has AB blood type. Right? And the last one is look like this. This is the one that recessive actually. This is the one that have O blood type. If you O blood type, you will know that your blood type will be like this. Your gene will be like this. If you are AB, you will be sure that this is your genes gonna be. But if you are A or B, you might have this or this. If you are A, if you are B, you might have this or this. Okay, so this is multiple allele inheritance. multiple alleles inheritance in blood type. A is actually dominant to I, B dominant to I. What? So I is going to be recessive for both A and B, but A and B, they are the same strength. Therefore, they are codominant. Can you follow this one first? Now we're going to put on the inheritance. Okay, so you actually can kind of check your blood type in your family. Okay, I'm going to erase this. Okay, let's say this is a mother that is A blood type. This is strong A, like this. So her blood type is A. Okay, married with a father or husband that O blood type. O, this is A. Now, let's say in the questions, in the exam, I'm asking you, how many children will be O blood type? Again, if you use Punnett square, even you can actually, if you follow the way to check the children, the inheritance, you should be answer this right away. How many of children will be O? If the father O, the mother A, like this. How many children will be O? Okay. Calvin.
I want to make my Punnett square for answer.
Okay. Okay, anybody have it? None of them. Okay. Look, why it is none of them? So don't be, no, look at this one. Again, use Punnett square. Look at the mother. The mother will be this and this, right? That's the X will be. And then the father will be this, and the other one is the same, this. Okay? And what's the children gonna be? Right? 100% will be what? What is the children blood type? 100% will be? What blood type? Daniel. What is this? What is the blood type over here? Come on, there is no B letter over there.
Just A.
Just A. Okay. I hope you still have this. This, if it is like this person in A. If it is like this person is also A. Remember, this one is recessive. It's covered by A. AB on only one type. AB will always like this, the genotype. Okay. I'll give you another example for this one. Okay. Now, this is the final exam, just to make sure that you're able to answer the inheritance questions correctly. Okay. Let's say this is a mother that AB blood type. Okay. Married with let's say a husband that have O blood type. Now, if the question is what is the probability of children will have blood type like the mother or like the father? How many of them? How many percent will be like father and mother or mother? Again, I give you the time to use Punnett square and give the answer. The question is, how many percent the children will be like father or mother blood type? Right. That's the question. Yeah. Joe, you have the answer already? Anybody have the answer already? Ethan, how many of them will be like father or like mother?
25% reject, father,
25% father, 25% father. It's wrong. All right, Daniel. Huh? Okay. So no AB, no O. Okay, 0. That's correct. So this is actually really important. If you are, for example, you AB blood type, if married with the O husband, and then none of your children actually AB or O, don't worry. It is okay. Right? That's happened because that's actually the inheritance for the blood over here. So don't you, oh, this is not my son, or this is my, because his blood is not the same like me. Right? So what happened with the mother over here? So this is the first eggs, this is the second eggs, right? This is for the father, the sperm, like this. So what happens? The first child may be A. This will be A blood type. The second one is also A. And the third one is actually B. And the last one also B. So 50% A, 50% B. None of them will be like father or like mother. Because this is how the blood is actually inherited. So this is part of the codominance, which is if it is A and B together, it actually will showing up as an AB blood type. I think I'm gonna stop here, and then for the exam, I just